So you can listen to this practice wherever you find yourself today. You can be sitting down or laying down or even stretching and doing things if that's what you got to do. And hopefully wherever you're at when you listen, this will still be helpful to you in some way. So if you would like to listen to this in a still position, you can feel free to take all the time you need to arrive there. And just allow yourself to fidget, adjust, stretch, or move in whatever ways feel good in your body right now. And just doing your best to not think about the movements, but almost allowing your body to move you in the ways that intuitively feel good in your bones, muscles, joints. Maybe it feels good to roll out the neck a little bit or make some cat-cow motions with the spine. Or maybe stillness feels good for you right away. And just honoring that need for stillness whenever that feels like the right thing. And as I said, there's no rush whatsoever. You can continue to move throughout this practice whenever you feel the need to. But at any point, if you are feeling ready to come to that still position, then you may do so. Just feeling that the spine is nice and straight in whatever position you've chosen. And if you're in a space where you feel safe and would like to, you can allow the eyes to gently close at any time if they aren't already. You can just mark your arrival into your practice today and into your body today with a full, intentional cleansing breath. As you take in a long and slow inhale in through the nose and almost watching your body fill up with air to every corner and edge of you as you just pause for a moment when you are full and really experience that sense of fullness. And without straining as you need to, slowly letting all of that go. Just exhaling bit by bit and gently pulling the navel toward the spine at the bottom of your exhale to just push that last bit of stagnant air out of you. As you again pause for a moment to experience that sense of emptiness. And allow your next breath to come as it's needed. And so you can continue to breathe just like this for as many rounds as feels good and helpful for you. Just by exaggerating the 4 parts of your breath. So it's not important exactly how long your inhales, exhales, and pauses are, but just letting them be exaggerated, whatever that means for you. So even when you think you're full, seeing if you can just take in a few more sips of air and pause for a moment longer than you might normally. And then exhale a bit deeper than you might normally. And again, pausing more intentionally as we just consciously slow down the process of our breathing. The 4 parts of your breath. The inhale, the pause at the top of the inhale, followed by the exhale, and the pause at the bottom of the exhale. And as we slow down the process of our breath, slowing down our awareness right along with it. And just noticing any effect that this slower breathing pattern has on the mind right away, if any at all. And then at any time, if you haven't already, you can just simply release this guidance over your breath altogether. And just allow yourself to step almost back and up in the mind as you come into that role of the observer or the witness. Into that point of view where you can simply watch the body as it breathes you. And just remembering that the breath is our one bodily function that can be either voluntary or automatic. So after voluntarily slowing down the breath, stepping back, releasing that guidance, and watching the breath become automatic. Practicing seeing your body breathing just as you would see any other force of nature. If you imagine laying on the beach and just watching the waves roll up along the shoreline, coming in and out as they do. And you watching are not trying to change anything about how big the waves are or how fast they are coming and going, but you're simply watching as they do. And just seeing if even just for a split second, you can watch your body breathe you without having any direct impact over the rhythm or depth of your breath. And just knowing that some days this feels very straightforward and simple to do, while other days this feels nearly impossible to observe the breath without impacting it at all. So it is perfectly okay wherever you are at today. And just making a personal note for yourself of what your starting point is today. And knowing that it will be different each and every time you show up to a meditation practice or any healing practice. Since we are constantly changing, just like everything else in nature. And so just watching if the mind is trying to hold you to any strict expectations. Maybe telling yourself how you think you should be feeling or how you would like to feel. And just know that the moment you catch the mind having these expectations or thoughts, that automatically puts you back into the role of the observer. So it's not necessary for your mind to totally stop thinking, or for judgments and expectations to totally stop popping up. It is just necessary for you to notice when they do. And maybe the mind is rather active today. Maybe it's trying to pull you to the past, thinking about anything at all before this moment. Or maybe it's trying to pull you to the future and multitask and maybe plan for your day ahead. And again, just noticing if or when the mind wanders to the past or to the future. And just knowing that the moment you notice, that automatically puts you back in the present. And if the mind is very active and maybe there's repeating thoughts coming back, it can be really difficult if not impossible, to tell our minds to stop thinking. And so instead, what we can do is bring our attention to the physical. And oftentimes I notice for myself, if I'm having repeating thoughts that are bothersome to me, that thought is often linked with an area of tension in the body, or maybe an area of fidgeting. And it can be a lot simpler to tell our bodies to relax than it is to tell our minds to stop thinking. And oftentimes I find when we relax the body even further, those thoughts will naturally dissipate along with the tension, or at least become slightly quieter. And so with your attention resting on your face, you can just make note of any areas of tension in the muscles of your face. Making note of any expression that could be resting on your face. Any emotions that could be communicated by the expression on your face. Maybe the brow is furrowed or the jaw tight. The nostrils could be flared, or the chin could be holding on to some tension. And so just making that personal note for yourself, again, of how you are starting your practice today. And then you can give yourself permission to soften into this moment and just simply allow your jaw to hang heavy. Allow your tongue to release from the roof of the mouth. As you feel the corners of your lips soften a bit more. And just allow the lips to rest on each other. As the whole mouth and throat softens a bit more. You can just feel how this release in the muscles of your mouth naturally allows your chin to soften a bit more, along with your nostrils, spreading outward and upward to your cheeks, to your ears, softening both eyelids, the eyebrows, and allowing your hairline to soften back as you allow the forehead to be wide and deep. Maybe just feeling this sense that the muscles of the face are hanging off of the bones slightly as they release back into the support of your skin. Just allow that sense of release to naturally cascade down the scalp, spreading down the back of the neck, the sides of the neck, as the shoulders become a little bit heavier, and the space between the shoulders and the ears get a little bit longer. As the arms become heavy, and the hands and fingers all soften. Allowing all the muscles across the abdomen to be soft, and just simply rest on the organs. The pelvic floor widens and lengthens as you release yourself further into whatever surface is beneath you. And just allow yourself to be hugged toward the earth by the support and comfort of gravity. Allowing your legs, feet, and toes to all soften into this support. releasing the need to hold anything in a specific way, as you just allow yourself to be heavy and big, allowing yourself to take up space. And as you allow yourself to be heavy, you can just let some awareness come to the crown of your head as you feel that becoming lighter and almost magnetically drawn upward. The tips of your shoulders reaching away from each other as the collarbones broaden and you allow your heart to sit in this proud position between the upper arms. So allowing yourself to be heavy and light at the same time. Reminding yourself this is not a thinking or doing process, but one of listening and feeling. And knowing that you are capable of holding opposing feelings within you. Contrasting thoughts, ideas, and sensations. And so allowing yourself to be heavy and light, allowing yourself to be long and wide. And just take up as much space as you truly do, releasing any need to make yourself smaller. So you can gradually let more and more of your awareness make its way into your heart. As you just feel this unique rhythm of the heart beating within your chest, of the life that is being pumped into you. And you can always place one or both hands on top of the heart if you have trouble feeling it right now, to just encourage that feeling from the outside as well. And just gradually syncing your awareness up with the rhythm of your life. This background beat that is constantly playing in the background of everything you've ever experienced. The steady beating of your own heart. And just allow yourself to rest in the safety that this heart provides. Reminding yourself how this heart is your direct line of connection to whatever source allows all of our hearts to beat. And so you do not need any sort of translator to aid that connection between you and that source, since you have a direct line to that source. And so you never need to give that power away to anyone else. But you can rather fuel that connection inside of yourself, in your own heart, in your own mind, simply by being aware of it. By remembering that you are connected to the source of all life, simply because you are life. You are alive. And we will all move through phases where we forget this connection. We forget our own power, our own gifts. And that is just another part of being human. It does not mean you've done anything wrong or you're being punished for anything. It simply means you are in a phase of rest. And the most helpful metaphor for this comes from Hellenistic astrology, where the moon is the representation of our body. Just like our body, the moon does not have a light of its own. It is simply matter. But the moon does reflect the light of the sun, which is the representation of our soul, that inner spark that animates our body. And there will be times where we have a full moon, and the moon is fully illuminated by the soul, by sun. And the moon is bright, it's whole. It is shining light for others in the darkness. And other times, that exact same moon is a new moon, and it's in the shadows. It is still there, but not reflecting any light. And the moon is not being punished when it is in that phase. It is just simply another phase the moon moves through. And the face of the moon is constantly changing. And we are the same way. There will be times where we feel full and bright and like we are capable of shining our own light for others in their darkness. And there will be other times where we feel in the dark ourselves. And we feel disconnected, maybe confused, and slightly lost. But we will always be moving through these phases. And you will move on to the next one, even when it feels like this is the way you've always felt and the way you always will feel. You can know that that will never be true, since everything in life is constantly changing, especially our feelings. So if you are feeling disconnected and lost right now, you can just allow yourself to be in that phase. Allow yourself to do whatever it is you need to do to comfort yourself. And just trust that the next phase will come. You will feel inspired and whole once again. And if you are feeling like a full moon right now, you can allow yourself to be there as well and make the most of it. Soak in as much light as you can. Share as much light as you can while you're feeling that way. Because you know that that won't last forever either. But we will always come back around. And so you can just allow yourself to let go of that extra, oftentimes heaviest layer of suffering that we put on ourselves, of those expectations and those should thoughts, feeling like we should be feeling something different than what we are feeling. When we're feeling really down and disconnected, telling ourselves constantly, well, I should be grateful, I should be inspired and motivated. You can release those thoughts and trust that you will feel inspired, connected, and motivated again. And it is perfectly okay that you don't feel that way right now. And you can also fully allow yourself to feel connected and inspired and motivated if that's how you're feeling. And release any thoughts that might be there of maybe guilt. Maybe guilt for feeling good when you know that there is pain and suffering around you. And allow yourself to feel good. Allow yourself to soak it all up. and share whatever you feel called to share. And just make the most of the time where you are feeling good. And so you can just continue to feel whatever it is that you are feeling. Continue to soften your body into this moment as you just listen to the following words written by young Pueblo in one of his newsletters called The Definition of Happiness. And just allow anything that feels like it resonates with you to soak in a little deeper and just not worrying about the rest. So without a proper definition, happiness will always feel elusive and unattainable. Happiness can seem like an opaque goal until you realize that what you are actually striving for is a mixture of peace and joy. On the road to happiness, many get sidetracked by thinking that what they are looking for is pleasure. Getting happiness confused with pleasure becomes problematic because the craving for pleasure builds a lot of tension in the mind, and it keeps the mind focused on external things. This idea makes you think that what you need is outside of you. Even when you get what you want, there is always more to crave. It is a non-ending and dissatisfying habit pattern. After a certain amount of reflection, the insight arises that happiness is not about what you can get. It's an internally cultivated mindset. By examining your own past, you see that the distance between you and happiness has been created by the intensity of your reactions and the turbulence in your mind, both of which are internal dynamics that can shatter your enjoyment of good things that are trying to come your way. If your mind is not in a good place, it will not be able to accept the gifts that life is trying to give you. To build a mindset that allows happiness in, you need to develop the quality of non-reactiveness. Life is generally uncontrollable, and it is not possible to live without challenges. So eventually, unwanted things and tough situations will appear. Being able to create space in your mind where you can recognize something as undesirable without reacting to it intensely not only helps you deal with it better, but it also keeps you connected to your peace. Not reacting literally allows peace to exist in your mind. The less you react, the more peace you have. Similarly, for joy to exist, you need to cultivate your sense of presence. If you are disconnected from what is happening within you and from what is right in front of you, then it will not be possible to experience the true depths of joy. Being able to spend more time in the present moment and to give those you are interacting with more of your genuine attention opens the possibility for more joy to arise within you. Both peace and joy and their counterparts, non-reactiveness and present moment awareness, all stem from a particular quality of mind, equanimity. When the mind is balanced and steady, when it is taking in the world without holding on to it, when it is simply observing without judging, the mind is in a state of equanimity. The door to access the full beauty of life and the wisdom of the universe is opened by equanimity. To be truly happy, equanimity has to be part of the equation. The definition of happiness is the peace and joy you feel from having an equanimous mind. And at the end, he's written a journal prompt. So you can just let these questions sit within you and maybe journal after this session if you feel called to. What is the most common emotion you have been feeling these past few weeks? Do you know why? What can you do to cultivate a more equanimous mind? Have you been able to appreciate the beauty of life lately? So you can just allow everything that you've heard today to settle. If you imagine every word as a little speck of glitter in a snow globe, and just letting this be the time where we set the snow globe down and allow it all to settle. Allow the air to clear. Just trusting that anything you've heard today that really resonated or struck a chord with you, trusting that that feeling can come when we hear on the outside what a part of us already knows to be true on the inside. And so just allowing those truths to be enhanced within you, so you feel a little bit more confidence to act on your own intuition. Trusting that you already know exactly what you need to do. And at the end of the day, there is nobody else out there who can teach you more about yourself, your joys and passions and sense of purpose than what quiet time with yourself can teach you. So you can let some awareness come into the palms of your hands. And maybe feeling that heartbeat that exists in your hands. And the pulse running through your palms and fingers. And just remembering this innate connection from your heart to your hands. Remembering your own anatomy and how your heart is physically connected to your hands through pathways of veins and vessels. And how all the love that is in your heart is also in your hands. And your hands have the power to create and to heal through the love that is in your heart. And just fueling this connection, again, simply by being aware of it. And so if it feels like something you'd like to do today, you can just let your hands come and find each other in a prayer position toward heart center. As you just feel that contact of your palms and fingers to one another, and allow your heart to lift toward your thumbs and your thumbs to press back toward your heart. As you just feel all of this power generated through you. And taking a final deep and full breath into the body as you allow yourself to fill up to every corner and edge of you. And as you exhale, allowing the head to gently bow as you let go of anything you're ready to let go of. And just taking this moment to bow to the source of energy that allows all of our hearts to beat, whatever you believe that to be. And bowing to everyone else in this space who has listened and completed this practice right alongside you. And finally, bowing to yourself for choosing to show up today and taking the time out of your busy life for this pure act of self-love and self-care. And may this act continue to heal you through the rest of your days and nights. And may you bring the same love and understanding to everything you do and to everyone that you see. Thank you.